जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जयो यमुना तीरावनचारी जयो कुंज बिहारी जयो जयो यमुना तीरावनचारी जयो कुंज बिहारी जयो यमुना वनचारी जयो जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Radhe. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jai, Prabhupada Jaya. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Deving Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Welcome everyone. Today to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are reading from the 7th canto, chapter 4, entitled Hiranyakashipu Terrorizes the Universe. And we are reading text number 33. Yes. Nodvigna chityo vyasaneshu nispriha. Nodvigna chityo vyasaneshu nispriha. Shruteshu drishteshu guneshu avastudrik. Shruteshu drishteshu guneshu avastudrik. Dantendriya prana shariradi sada. Dantendriya prana shariradi sada. Prashanta kamo rahita suro suraha. Prashanta kamo rahito suro suraha. Nodvigna chityo vyasaneshu nispriha. Shruteshu drishteshu guneshu avastudrik. Dantendriya prana shariradi sada. Prashanta kamo rahita suro suraha. Shariradhi Sada. Nispriya. Suro Suraha. Nudvigna Chitto Vyasaneshu Nispriyaha. Shruteshu Drishteshu Guneshu Vastudrik. Tantendriya Prana Shariradi Sada. Prashanta Kamo Rahita Suro Suraha. Mothers. Tantendriya Prana Shariradi Sada. Prashanta Kamo Rahita Suro Suraha. Na, not. Udvigna, agitated. Chittaha, whose consciousness. Vyasaneshu, in dangerous conditions. Nisprihaha, without desire. Shruteshu, in things heard of, especially elevation to heavenly planets because of pious activities. Drishtesu, as well as in temporal things seen. Guneshu, the objects of sense gratification under the modes of material nature. Avastudrik, seeing as if insubstantial. Danta, controlling. Indriya, the senses. Prana, the living force. Sharira, the body. Dhihi, and intelligence. Sada, always. Prashanta, quieted. Kamaha, whose material desires. Rahita, completely devoid of. Asuraha, demoniac nature. Asuraha, although born in a demoniac family. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Although Prahlad Maharaj was born in a family of Asuras, he himself was not an Asura, but a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. Unlike the other Asuras, he was never envious of the Vaishnavas. He was not agitated when put into danger, and he was neither directly nor indirectly interested in the fruitive activities described in the Vedas. Indeed, he considered everything material to be useless, and therefore he was completely devoid of material desires. He always controlled his senses and life air, and being of steady intelligence and determination, he subdued all lusty desires. Purport. From this verse, we discover that a man is not qualified or disqualified simply by birth. Prahlad Maharaj was an Asura by birth, yet he possessed all the qualities of a perfect Brahman. Brahmanya Shila Sampannaha. Anyone can become a fully qualified Brahman under the direction of a spiritual master. Prahlad Maharaj proved a vivid example of how to think of the spiritual master and accept his directions calmly. Mukam karoti vachalang pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tamaham mande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam. So, Nidvigno, nidvigna, nidvigna chitto vyasaneshu nisprihaha sruteshu drishteshu guneshu astu drika. Dantendriya prana sharirajis sada prashanta kamo rahitasuro suraha. Although Prahlad Maharaj was born in a family of asuras, he was himself not an asura but a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. Unlike the other asuras, he was never envious of the Vaishnavas. He was not agitated when put into danger, and he was neither directly nor indirectly interested in the fruitive activities described in the Vedas. Indeed, he considered everything material to be useless, and therefore he was completely devoid of material desires. He always controlled his senses and life, and being of steady intelligence and determination, he subdued all lusty desires. So we're continuing in the section, seventh canto, of the curse which came upon Jai Vijay, the doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, by the four Kumaras, powerful Brahmins. And the curse happened somewhere in another dimension, in another space. But the result was that on the earthly plane, the great demons Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu took birth from the womb of a Brahman woman. As a matter of fact, Mother Diti, the mother of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, was the daughter of Daksha. And Daksha himself, supposed to be, was the son of Brahma. And he had a Brahmanical nature, Daksha Maharaj. And now he married Diti to Kashyapa, Prajapati Kashyapa. And Prajapati Kashyapa is also a Brahman. But at the time of impregnation, Mother Diti was in a terrible mindset. She had a lot of lust in her heart, prestige, competition, and envy, jealousy towards her other sister, Aditi, because she had already sons and she didn't have anything. For a woman to have children and sons is a source of pride, a reason for prestige. It's like that. I guess also for a man it is like that. Me and my son, they are very proud of having a good son. So, but Diti, Mother Diti didn't have any children. So she demanded Kashyap to give her children. And Kashyap said, just wait for some time. This time is not proper for impregnation. It is the Sandhyakal. It is the evening twilight. And that is the time for ghosts and goblins. And Lord Shiva, Rudra, he is riding on his bull Nandi. And all his hobgoblins, ghosts and spirits are going along with him because he's Bhutanatha, the Lord who gives shelter to ghosts and spirits also, and demons. So if you commit any kinds of activities which Rudradev doesn't like, he will punish you for that. And what is that punishment? He will send one of his ghosts into your womb. You got a ghostly son. And actually, Diti couldn't listen to Kashyapa Rishi. And she demanded to be impregnated in that night or in the twilight. And Kashyapa Rishi, although a Brahmin by nature, could not resist or control his lusty wife, Diti. And in a state of mental fall down from dharma, he impregnated his wife, Diti. Now, as a result, you can say Lord Shiva sent them into the womb of Diti. But there was also a curse of the four Kumaras. Demons entered the womb of Diti, and he became the greatest demons ever. And now Prajapati Kashyapa is counted among the Brahmanas. Therefore, from the point of birth in a Brahman family, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu are supposed to be Brahmins, right? Just like Ravana, born in the dynasty of Pulastya Muni. So he's supposed to be a Brahman. But does anybody accept them as Brahmins? Nobody. No sane man will accept, oh, these are great Brahmins. They're enjoying apsaras, wine, flesh, and chastising Vaishnavas. No. They must be good Brahmins. They're not good Brahmins. Nobody considers them to be Brahmins. Why? Because of their sinful activities. By activities, they are not considered to be Brahmins. As a matter of fact, according to the Markandeya Puran, one of the 18 major Puranas, in the beginning, in Satyuga, the Lord created humans on this planet. And their nature and their beauty was just like the Devatas. And in Satyuga, there was only one Varna, Hansa, or everyone was a Brahman. There was no need for work, no need for collection, because there were kalpavrikshas on this planet. It was amazing how Markandeya Puran describes it. These trees were huge, going up, maybe a kilometer or something as Satyuga, right? So everything is much more bigger. And in those trees, people used to live because the roots are so big, you put some plants and you can live there. And from these trees, there was oozing very strong smelling and tasting honey. And the bodies of those people in Satyuga could subsist on just drinking honey. No need for work. And these are kalpavrikshas. So they also fulfill your desires. You have a desire for having a nice sari, you go and sit there and ask, my dear kalpavriksha, please give me a sari. Then, pew, a fruit will fall. And you open the fruit, and there is your sari. Kalpavrikshas, desire-fulfilling trees. There are many of them, a lot. So, therefore in Satyuga, nobody needed to work. You just sit like a Hansa. Hansa means not Lufthansa, it means a swan. And a swan is known for its ability to, if you give him milk mixed with water, it can separate the water from the milk and drink the milk and keep the water aside. When I said this, somebody said, seeing is believing. I must first try this out. Maybe we should try this out. I think that there are some swans around here in some lake. And then we can try it out. Bring some milk, not just milk, milk and water. Give it to the swan and see what he does. He drinks the milk and leaves the water. So that's a Hansa. So people in Satyuga used to take the essence of everything. Not the whole thing, but just the essence. And the essence was meditating on Lord Vishnu and getting self-realized and going back to Godhead. That was the process. But as time passed by, towards the end of Satyuga, lust, anger, envy, competition started to come up. And people started to fence the kalpavrikshas. This is mine and not yours. And even dare to cut down the kalpavrikshas, according to Markandeya Puran. So, there was no more subsistence because they didn't work. So now there is nothing to eat. Then a Treta Yuga started and people had to work. But then Yajna Avatar came, the Yuga Avatar. And he showed the ladle and the spoon of this sacrificial ingredients, how to do yajna to get everything you want. And people had to do a little bit of labor and perform sacrifice, and by that they could get everything. But then there was a need to protect the fruit of the labor. That means grains. Somebody had to work, till the field, and grow the grains. There was a group of people needed to protect those fruits from dacoits. And there was need for people to help the others in their tasks. So then Varnashram came up. It seems to be Varnashram was not eternal. It came up in Treta Yuga because then labor started. So Varnashram is connected also to labor and also to spiritual development. And in Satyuga, there was only spiritual development, only one caste, Hansa. So that would mean that actually the whole human race is originating from the Brahmins, right? The distinction only came, and as a matter of fact, Brahma is also a Brahmin. And he's the great ancestor of everyone. So then in that sense, everyone is supposed to be a Brahmin. Now, why people are not showing their Brahminical qualities? Because they're very much covered by many, many material desires. Name, fame, prestige, a lot of money and lusty desires. So that in essence, that Brahminical becomes covered. And what is that Brahminical? Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Nasochiti Nakangshiti. It is actually the Atman, which is the Brahman, so to say, because that's spiritual, completely spiritual. And the more it is covered, the more you get entangled in the four Varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and the protectors of the fruits They are the Kshatriyas, and they demand tax. Okay, I will protect, but you give me some part of the fruit, right? And those who are tilling the field, the Vaishyas, they need helpers, the Shudras. And you need somebody to offer the fruit of your labor to the Supreme Lord. Then somebody, those who are qualified, they chanted mantras and swaha, it was offered to the Supreme Lord. In this way, the four varnas came into existence, according to the Markandeya Purana. Very interesting. So now, it is said in the Atari Smriti, very interesting verse, Srila Prabhupada used to many times quote, Janmana jayate shudra sanskara dvija uchyate veda pathat bhavet vipraha brahma janiti iti brahmana, from the Atari Smriti. It means by biological birth, one is a shudra, a labor class, or a person who laments unnecessarily, who's too much bodily conscious, right? It's called to be a shudra. Then by purificatory ceremonies, one becomes a dvija, a person who takes birth for the second time. Also, birds are considered to be dvijas because they first take birth in an egg and then they come out of the egg, second birth. But it's not that kind of birth which is described here. Then it says in this verse, after completing his Vedic studies, Veda Pathat Bhavet Vipraha, one becomes a Vipra, a ritualistic Brahman priest. And after realizing Brahma Janiti iti Brahmana, then one is known to be a Brahman. As a matter of fact, the word Brahmana, the first syllable is elongated. That indicates in Sanskrit language that it is coming from. Just like Kunti. If you elongate U, becomes Au. Kaunteya, indicating the sons of Kunti. Bhrigu, Bhargava. The Bhra becomes elongated, Bhargava, means coming from Bhrigu, his dynasty. In the same way, you have here Brahman, Brahmana. So those who are coming from Brahman, from the absolute, from the transcendence. So what is the second birth? The second birth is also sometimes called to be as Jnana Garbha. For it is a birth in knowledge. The Guru takes his disciples into his womb of knowledge. It is actually coming from the traditional description how Brahma was born. Brahma, he was in a womb. Or Vishnu doesn't have any womb actually, but he was. So how is it? How did he take birth? In considered with the Jnana Garbha, there is a womb of knowledge in which the disciple takes birth, and then the Guru trains him. The term is used sometimes as being second time born, birth in knowledge. So then it happens while receiving the Gayatri mantra. And the Gayatri Devi is considered to be the mother of the Vedas, Veda Mata Gayatri. So, as I said, when Brahma was born from the lotus, that was his first birth, then his second birth came, and that was the initiation. And Brahma mentions that in his Brahma Samhita, in his song, that he was initiated by Lord Krishna. And the mantra he received came from the flute of Krishna, from Govinda. Interesting, huh? Sounds very nice. It comes into the ears of Brahma. And that mantra was the Kama Gayatri. And Brahma, when he spoke, when he produced that Gayatri, it came out as the Brahma Gayatri. So, in order to become a Brahman, second birth is necessary. Dvija. A Dvija means second birth. And Srila Sanatana Goswami has said something very interesting about this. He says, Yatha kanchanatam yati kansyam rasa vidhanataha tatra diksha vidhanena dvijatam jayate nrinam. Which means, just as bell metal is turned into gold when mixed with mercury in an alchemical process, so one who is properly trained and initiated by a bona fide spiritual master immediately becomes a Dvija, referring to a Brahman here. Technically, Dvija doesn't mean Brahman, because also Kshatriyas, they have the same ceremony of Diksha. So Kshatriyas are also Dvijas. And Vaishyas, they also take initiation, and they are also considered to be Dvijas. But if you talk about Dvija Sreshta, the best among the Dvijas, then it means the Brahmins, like that. So, bell metal turns into gold when you mix it with mercury. Have you tried? Very toxic. Bell metal is that literally the bell is made, it sounds like ting, 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 it's made of bell metals. I think it's a mixture of copper and tin. bell metal. So in the past, some people knew about this process, how you can turn bell metal into gold. And once Prabhupada's disciples asked Prabhupada, how does this process work? And Prabhupada said you have to drink the mercury and then digest it and then urinate on bell metal, then it turns into gold. So you are not able to do that because you are not able to drink mercury. So it was, so sorry, we cannot make cheap gold, Anyway, therefore gold price is still rising and it is a valuable metal. But some or other yogis were able to do that in the past, and there was a procedure to do that. So by mercury, bell metal attains the qualities of gold, right? Becomes um, a, a metal which does not react with any other metal, a very an edle Metalle. You say like that in German? No. Edelmetall, yes. That's right. So let us look how the Diksha Vidhana, the process of initiation, how it changes the body. Just like bell metal is changed into gold. See, according to Sananda Goswami, initiation changes the body of somebody and makes him into a qualified Dvija, and then further training makes him into a Brahman. Right? Let us see what is the process we are using here. According to the Narada Pancharatra, there is something called Pancha Samskara, 5 purificatory ceremonies which are done at the same time. And among Vaishnavas, this procedure is followed. The 5 purificatory ceremonies, samskaras, they change the body. Now let us see how they change the body, because it changes from anything into at least the inclination is injected into a person so that he can become a Brahman, like that. The 5 samskaras which are followed among Vaishnavas, among them the first one is Vaishnava Nama. When you take a Diksha, then just like in a Namakarana Sanskara, when a child is very small, then you give him a name. The Vedic tradition is you don't give a name prior to birth, after birth. Because a name attaches to a personality and it creates memories. So suppose a child was very weak and it might die and there was no name, then also the pain is less. Therefore, they used to wait till the child is born. And there's certain periods are there, you can take, give a name 2nd day, 3rd day, or after the 10th day. And the nama, the name one receives, is an energy according to what the person will identify himself, right? If I say Johannes, now look at you, see, the energy goes there. If I say Nila, the energy goes there, right? So it is connected. Name, the energy of the name is connected to a person. So you start to identify with your name, right? But now the problem is, we are in a wrong identification. Somebody's name might have been Rule. So it means like ruler, king. When you get initiation, then the ego gets changed, the identification gets changed. You get a name according to your real identity. What is your real identity? Jivera Swarupahai Krishner Nityadas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says the Jiva's real identity is that he's Krishna's servant. Therefore, you get a name indicating that you're Krishna's servant. Nila Madhava Das. Right? Anupam Krishna Das. Now, it is also that the name will shape your mind and create qualities in you. Right? So Nila means blue. Blue Madhava, servant of Blue Madhava. Anupam Krishna means matchless Krishna or unmatched Krishna, his servant. So one tends to get qualities according to the name received, like that. And especially a title is added to that name among Vaishnavas. Das or Dasi means servant or maidservant, like that. So in that way, the first thing which is changed in the Pancha Sanskar is the ego. That's the first purificatory ceremony. Now, the ego is something which is very difficult to change. And as I mentioned, it is on the level of sushupti, of deep sleep. There the ego resides, right? There actually the ego dissolves, even that. So it is a very deep process which changes one's identification. Though the body is there, now one doesn't identify with the body anymore, but with one makes a connection with the family of Krishna in that sense. So that's one great purificatory act which one does. The second one is urdhva pundra. These upgoing lines means urdhva, going up, going lines. So it's called the Vaishnava Tilak. And it signifies that one has understood the higher goal of life, right? It goes up, urdhva, the higher goal of life, and is ready to endeavor for achieving it. Just like in an army, soldiers have a certain sign which signifies, okay, they belong to this king or to this nation. They're willing to sacrifice everything for that nation. So this tilak signifies that. We're ready to sacrifice our life in order to endeavor for the highest goal because they're going up. So what is the highest goal? Very interesting and very rasik also. The Urdhva Pundra represent the lotus feet of Krishna. Now how? How is this the lotus feet of Krishna? Very abstract, abstract arts maybe, or digitalized. No, the Padma Purana says very clearly, the space between the first and the second toe of the Lord has a U shape, doesn't it? And there you put the tulsi, like that. Then you get this Vaishnava, Gaudiya Vaishnava Tilak. Interesting. Nice, huh? The Padma Purana says this clearly. This is why the Tilak represents the lotus foot of Krishna. And this is the highest goal of life, isn't it? To attain Lord Krishna's lotus feet, along with the tulsi. Means along with the bhakti. So that indicates our tilak which we have, the urdhva pundra. The third samskara, purificatory ceremony, is Vaishnava Chinha. The body is now considered to be a temple in which in the Garbha Griha, in the innermost center, Lord Krishna is installed, Pranat Pratishthit, on the lotus of your heart. Therefore, your body is a temple. And temples have to be decorated with nice chains, other signs. Some people have flower dots here, or shankha and chakra. And, some people put tattoos, which is also Vaishnava. Good tattoos, no demons or women or knives or all kinds of strange things. No. I saw one devotee in Vrindavan, and he was full of tattoos. He said, Prabhu, please stop, I want to read you. He had shlokas here and shlokas there. Anyway, it is a temple and we have to decorate it. So you can see how the consciousness changes, that my body is meant for sense gratification and exploitation of the senses, into no, it is a temple of Krishna, meant to serve him, right? Mama mana mandire raho nishidin Shri Krishna Murari, Shri Krishna Murari. You know this song, isn't it? Huh? Please, my dear Lord, stay in the temple of my mind. Where is the mind? In the heart, exactly. Not here. Mama Mana Mandire Raho Nishidin. Stay there day and night. O Krishna Murari. So it is right there. That's the samskara. The Vaishnava Chinhas decorate. So it is not wrong to decorate your body a little bit more, like wearing male kadas like this was general, common among brahmacharis in Vedic times. And having ear pierced is also Vaishnava Chinha. But you have to pierce it on the right spot. And if you do it, you pierce that nerve, Karana Vedha Sanskara is called, when you become a brahmachari, you will feel how your mind cools down. It's amazing. A very wild mind, and you pierce it there, it becomes very cool. Just like a bull, young bull. Very wild, very powerful. But if you pierce the nose and put a ring there, it calms down. So it is like that. It really works, these chinhas which we do. So it should be gold, by the way, if you put it in your ear. Don't put so big that you're hanging and then, like a kartal, tongue. No, not like that. Just for the sake of samskara, for the sake of. These things are described in the Satkriya Sardipika of Gopala Bhatta Goswami, what kind of chinhas, signs, and other kind of things can be used for helping you to control the senses and education, because it's brahmacharya. The fourth one is Vaishnava mantras. One receives the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, empowered and surcharged by the Guru, who is to be a person who has perfected his mantra chanting. So, perfection of mantra chanting means basically when you chant Hare Krishna, you can evoke Krishna's presence. That's perfection of mantra chanting, mantra swarupa. So, you can chant Hare Krishna, it always will always work. We have seen in the past hippies give up their smoking and their all kinds of bad habits. It definitely works as a medicine. But if you get it empowered and surcharged with energy of the spiritual master, it has even more effect. You see? So that is gained when you take initiation. So mantra protects the mind from degradation. You see, those don't chant, even if they are ritualistic Brahmins, they have great difficulty in controlling their senses. Right? Especially nowadays with so much stimulus on the net, on the mobiles, everywhere, there is so much stimulus to degrade the mind. Then how to protect the mind? Manaha trayate iti mantra. That which protects the mind, that is called mantra. And expands the capacities of the mind. In the beginning, the mind is very much like a horse with covered eyes, like that. One can only see the body. And as one chants, one becomes hey, there is something more than just the body. There is also desires, there is consciousness. And it expands the mind further, that you can even consciously reach the level of sushupti into pragya, like I mentioned before, the third level of consciousness. And the first one is jagran, wake consciousness, the conditioned consciousness. The second one is swapna, dreaming. Then you see your internal desires, material desires. The third one is without any desires or material concoctions, is the pure, only the Atma, not pure soul, at least the Atma is there. And the mantra helps you to reach those states. You find that when one chants properly, one goes into deeper levels of consciousness, which everyone has and also has experienced. But the goal then of this charged mantra is finally to reach the fourth state of transcendental ecstasy called Turiya, Krishna Prema. That's the purpose of the mantra. The fifth samskara, Jai Gauranga Dev Nitai Ki Jai. The fifth samskara of the Pancha Samskara is called Archana Vidhi. One receives the process of deity worship from the spiritual master. One learns it from the Diksha Guru. How do you worship Hari? And for this purpose, one receives the Brahma Gayatri, the Guru Gayatri, Gaura Gayatri, Kama Gayatri, along with the Gopal Mantra and the Bija Mantras. This is what you gain when you take second initiation. Then you can use those mantras for worshipping Lord Krishna on the altar. So now you can see these different mantras, they have a certain system of why they are given. The Brahma Gayatri gives you liberation from this material world. The Guru Gayatri is the second Gayatri, which makes a connection with you to the absolute truth, Lord Krishna. Then you get the Gaura Gayatri, who's there to give you Krishna Prema, and the Kama Gayatri is there to really reveal your spiritual identity in the spiritual world, along with the Gopala Mantra. And in this way, the Gayatris are there, and that is the process which you are following, coming from Lord Brahma in our Sampradaya, like that. So now, the Archana process of deity worship, which you do on the altar, which you're seeing here, demonstrated every day, contains out of 5 aspects or 5 limbs called Panchanga Puja. Anga means limb. The first limb of these 5 the first one is Abhigamana. And Abhigamana consists out of all the purificatory ceremonies, bathing, dressing, even putting on tilak, all the things you do before you enter the temple. It's called all Abhigamana. So even sleeping in the right direction is part of Abhigamana, right? Because sleeping, why do you sleeping? The body has to purify itself, regenerate, gain energy again for the next day. So that's also called Abhigamana, right? Then waking up, then Guru Pranam, bowing down. This is the first thing you do, right? When you get out of the bed. Get out of the bed with the right leg first, it says. You know, there's a saying: if you get out of bed with the wrong leg, then you become grumpy the whole day. You know, I don't know if you have that in Germany also. It's understanding. But the actual idea is that Mother Earth we want to touch respectfully. So first the first right leg, a sign of respect, and then you pay obeisances to your Diksha Guru, and if you don't have a Diksha Guru yet, to Srila Prabhupada, and to your Ishtadev, and that's how you start the day, right? It's all part of Abhigamana, everything you do before you go to the temple. Then, when you have entered the temple, then you collect all the items of worship. It's called Upadana, like the bell, flowers, ghee, deepa, dhupa, incense, naivedya. So, Upadana also consists out of the cooking in the kitchen. It's part of Upadan, how you make the plate ready, how many items should be there, what is the menu, and all those things. It's all collecting items for worship. So when that all has been done, then you go outside the deity room still. You identify yourself as an eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's called yoga, the third item. So, Abhigamana, Upadan, yoga. Naham vipro na cha narapatir, napi vaisho na shudro, naham varni na cha grihapatir, no vanastho yatirva, kintu prodyan nikhila paramanandam, purnam nitabdher, gopir bhartur padakamalayur, dasa dasa anudasa. You identify, this is called also called Manasa Puja, you identify yourself as an eternal servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. So, this is a very nice order of given in this verse, Dasa Dasa. Who's the first Das of Krishna? The first servant? Who? Shrimati Radharani in our line. Balaram's line is another line. Our line is Shrimati Radharani's line because we are Manjaris. So first servant of Krishna is Shrimati Radharani. The second servant are the Sakhis. They always serve Shrimati Radharani, help her to join with Krishna in secrecy, right? Then who are the servants of the Sakhis? Manjaris, right? The younger gopis. So, Dasa, Dasa, Anudasa, right? So you identify yourself as a Manjari. That is your real identity. Rasika. So deity worship can be very rasik. So, alternately, if you're very advanced and you know who you are, you're supposed to go into your actual identity and serve Radha Krishna on that level. It's called Raganuga. You follow a certain personality from Goloka, whom you're very much inspired by and who has the same kind of affection you have for Krishna. Prabhupada mentions in the 10th canto, those parts which he did translate, that those who have an affectionate feeling for Krishna, just like Mother Yashoda or Nanda Maharaj had, they should meditate themselves as associates or servants of Yashoda and serve Krishna like that. He mentions that. You can read it in the 10th canto. So this is also a part of yoga. And another aspect there also is you sit, you identify yourself as a spiritual being, a servant of Krishna, and you already do the Manasa Puja, the offerings of the items in your mind. So everything you cooked, you offer to Krishna. You can do it through mantra also. Isha Dhupa, Isha Deepa, and then you chant the Bija mantra. Idam Naivedyam, Argyam, Padyam, etc., etc. You can do Mansak Puja. And when that is done, then you perform the fourth item, Ija. The actual worship, which you see done here, is done first in the mind, and you can then do, it's called Ija or Puja. Literally, it's called offering the items externally, called Bahya Puja. This is the fourth item. And then the fifth one of the Panchanga Puja is Swadhyaya. Swa means self and Dhyaya means study or meditation. So the fifth item, Swadhyaya, consists of 7 parts, called literally self-study. There is Nama Seva, Dhamma Seva, Shastra Seva, Vaishnava Seva, Atithi Seva, Tulasi Seva and Prasada Seva. Please repeat. Not yet. Atithi Seva. Atithi means guest, right? Uninvited guests. One who comes not by phone call or something, just walks in. Then you have to serve them also. Because it could be that Narayan comes to test you, Krishna comes to test you. Let us go there unannounced. See how we get treated. You see? That's the idea, the Vedic idea. You receive guests as good as you receive Narayan. Because this fellow likes to test everyone all the time. So be ready for that. Atithi Seva. It doesn't come according to Tithi, according to on call. So, what are these items? Nama Seva. Nama Seva, of course, means chanting the holy name. And you can also do Nama Seva in the sense of chanting bhajans. You have, today is Shikstundan Kirtan. So that's all Nam Seva, right? And Nam Seva also then, the holy name, chanting the holy name congregationally, means in a big group with musical instruments. That's the actual process for this day and age. But simultaneously, for further internal development, there is given japa. And japa can be done in a separated, lonely place, or you can also do group japa. And also group japa, if it's done properly, means especially properly, not that so many things are happening, somebody's watching a mobile and talking here and there while doing japa, then that japa is being disturbed. But if there's a lot of harmony, a lot of concentration on the same point, you find that your japa increases in quality, and it's more easy to concentrate like that. Therefore, chanting in the temple room is very good. Like that. So that is Nama Seva. Then there is Dham Seva, serving the holy place. So if you are in a holy place, like Vrindavan or Mayapur, then you can do some sweeping. Serve the Dham by cleaning it or decorating it. So if you're not in a holy Dham like that, you're in a temple, then you can bring some flowers for decoration, or you have these kind of, lamps, on a string. I call that. Like on Christmas, put it on the tree. No? Lishtaketan. Deepamala in Sanskrit. Lichtketting, like that. So you can bring that to decorate the temple very nicely. It can be different colors. And you can make little bouquets, hang them on, different. It's all Dham Seva, decorating. Also, Dham Seva is doing parikrama, using your feet to walk in the Dham respectfully, or doing parikrama of Tulasi. So it's Dham Seva. And in this way, that is the second type of service. The third one is Shastra Seva. And Shastra Seva is done by studying. The other night I was talking to Johannes, he was trying to memorize shlokas. So that's part of Shastra Seva. We should do that. So keep the mind fixed and pure. By Shastra Seva, we will pay respect to the Acharyas, to what Vedavyas wrote for us. Shastra Seva can also be, in some temples you have that, like Gauradesh, they put one Bhagavatam book, which goes along with the artis being worshipped. Right? Because Bhagavatam is a personality, book Bhagavat. That can also be Shastra Seva, serving the holy book. Then you have Vaishnava Seva. And Vaishnava Seva, everyone knows how to do that, I hope. It comes in, Maharaj will come, right? Vasudev Maharaj. So the method to do Vaishnava Seva is, traditionally it used to be in ISKCON, but nowadays it's a little bit critical. Everything is becoming critical nowadays. When the sannyasi used to come, Swagatam Suswagatam, he comes in. Idam Asanam, please take a place to sit. Then take your socks, take the socks off. Etat Padyam, wash the feet. Because sadhu has arrived, right? And sprinkle that on the head, right? And then you dry the lotus feet. And then Esha Dhupaha, you worship him with incense. Esha Deepaha, worship him with lamps, offer flowers. You can do full arti also. And chant the Guru Vandana, things like that. That's how you receive a Vaishnava. But of course, with our problems in a society, that has been reduced. But understand, it is actually not puja, it is receiving. I recall that in our house, when Pandits used to come for the ceremony, their feet used to be washed. It was natural. So nobody would think that, oh, we're giving worship. No, it's how you receive a Brahmin. You wash his feet and you offer flowers or a gift you give at the end. Then he does the whole ceremony. Especially Brahmins are pleased if you feed them nicely. The Brahmins, you see, Brahmana Bhojana Priya. Brahmins like very good food, And then they will do very nice puja, chant the mantras properly because they're satisfied. Their jati is like, their caste is like that, their genes are like that. When they get good food, they will do a good job. That's typical Brahmins, It's like that. They very much like good prasad, so you should give them good prasad. So Vaishnava Seva is done like that. You ask him, please stay some more days, and what other services, what other needs do you have? And you prepare his room, you put the Bhagavad set there, the books of Prabhupada, and all the needs there, towels, soap, everything. It's all considered to be Vaishnava Seva, right? So then you have Tulsi Seva, how to take care of Mother Tulsi. Watering Tulsi, walking around her, offering prayers to Tulsi, picking Tulsi, putting her on the lotus feet of Krishna. There's a mantra for that. Om Tulsi Marita Janmasi Varada Keshava Priya Keshavartha Chinomitam Tulsi Maharani Kshamaswamam. There are other mantras also, but this one means, O Mother Tulsi, you are born from Amrita, from nectar. Varada Keshava Priya, you can benedict, please benedict me, you're a benediction giver. I'm very dear to Keshava. For the sake of Keshava, I'm plucking your leaves. If I hurt you, please forgive me. Like that. This is a mantra which you use when you pick Tulsi leaves. And many other mantras you can do. Some people are very devoted to Tulsi because she is Vrinda. The story of Sridama and Vrinda in the spiritual world is there. That the pastime goes that they became attracted to each other as they wanted to have a husband and wife relationship, which was not possible in Golok. They got cursed to come down to this planet, and Sridam became the demon Jalandhar, and he married Vrinda. Her name still was Vrinda. And at the end of the story, because it's a long story, you want to hear the story? No? Yes? Huh? What happens there, they became attracted, and because that rasa was not their constitutional position, Vrinda is Tulsi in this planet, but there she is, she arranges all the pastimes of Radha Krishna, Vrinda Devi, in Vrindavan forest goddess. She's one of the forest goddesses, or a gopi. And Sridam is one of the, Sridam actually the elder brother of Srimati Radharani, one of the most intimate cowherd boyfriends of Krishna. So how can they become attracted to each other? There must be some reason, otherwise nobody falls from Goloka, right? So they got cursed that this relationship, it's not your constitutional position, go down to earth and enjoy that, and after that you can come. So Jalandhar came, Sridhama came, and he became a demon. He was born from the ocean. Very extremely powerful demon. Was conquering the three worlds, nobody could defeat him. But there's somebody else also born from the ocean. Who else is born from the ocean? Anybody knows? She came out during the churning already. Huh? Mohini, she also, but I'm mentioning here more a positive person. Lakshmi Devi came out by churning. So in this relationship then between Jalandhar and Lakshmi is brother and sister. So when Jalandhar became too much in the universe to control, the Devatas became upset. And he went to Vishnu that killed this demon. He's trying to usurp the heavenly kingdoms and this and that. And Vishnu was ready, making himself ready, putting his kavachas and his bow and everything ready. I'm going to kill this Jalandhar. But as he was going, Lakshmi Devi touched his feet, said, please, defeat him, but don't kill him. He's my brother. And Vishnu is Bhakta Vatsal. So, the promise of Lakshmi, by the promise of Lakshmi, he could not kill Jalandhar. So he left the battlefield at the end. The Devatas were very despondent. Even Vishnu cannot kill this Jalandhar. So they went to Lord Shiva. So Shiva first invoked Lord Vishnu. Why didn't you kill this demon? He said, listen, I'm Bhakta Vatsala, protector of my devotees, and Lakshmi prayed for the protection of her brother. Oh, I see. So then Shiva, he said, okay, I want to kill him, but there should be a reason for a quarrel. So I don't have any quarrel with him, so I cannot just take enmity with him. So that should be first a reason created. Narad said, oh, leave that up to me. I'm expert at that. Narada went to Jalandhar. He said, look, you're the lord of the three planetary systems, Bhur, Bhur, Swarlok. But you don't possess everything which comes to you, which is which should be yours, The same way that Surpanakha came to Ravana. You're the lord of the three worlds, but you don't possess all the jewels of the three worlds. Oh, really? Yes, you don't possess Sita. And here he said, you don't possess Parvati. She's the most beautiful goddess in the universe. Have you ever seen her? I said, no, come with me. And Narad brought Jalandhar to Kailash, where Parvati was seated, and he saw her. It's amazingly beautiful. Is that one thing? She's married to Shiva. So what should you do then? You challenge Shiva, tell him to give up Parvati. And Jalandhar wrote, a very outrageous letter. My dear Baba, you're a yogi, you keep meditating. What will you do with such a beautiful woman? Give her to me. And Shiva was smiling at the letter. So he wrote back something like, if you can't take her by force. Then the quarrel started between Shiva and Jalandhar. Shiva in the beginning didn't fight with Jalandhar. He sent Kali, goddess Kali, you go and fight with him. Now, Jalandhar being a real hero, he will not fight a woman. Kshatriyas don't fight with women, even if they are demoniac heroes. So Kali came, he was challenging him. Come up, shoot your arrows. But Jalandhar was not doing anything. He was paying obeisances to the supreme goddess, Kali. Then she fired weapons at him. And Jalandhar, he repulsed the weapons, but he didn't fire back. Then Kali used her powers and lifted him up in the sky and let him fall on the ground. And as he fell, he was paying obeisance to her. He said, this is too much. She went back to Shiva and told him what Jalandhar is doing. He's not fighting with women, so how can I kill him? So, okay, let me go. And Shiva had a great fight with Jalandhar. So what's happening here is that, meanwhile, as Jalandhar was fighting with Shiva, he actually disappeared from the battlefield. He took up the form of Shiva and approached Parvati for conjugal enjoyment. It was very strange. Parvati saw, he looks very much like my Shiva, and look, many, many scars and wounds are there. But why is he asking in such a time of crisis for conjugal? Something is wrong here. And she told her maidservant Jaya and Vijaya to her, like Jaya Vijaya, she has Jaya and Vijaya, two girlfriends who are her maidservants. Go and check who this person is. And Vijaya was very clever. He approached her for conjugal, but she understood, this is not Shiva. And she said, you will never be Shiva. You're not like my Lord is. You're somebody else. Who are you? So he was chased away. While this was happening, Lord Vishnu took up the form of Jalandhar, tit for tat. And he went to his wife Vrinda. Now Vrinda always desired to have Krishna as her husband. Right? She all said Tantapasya, to attain Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu as her husband. And he had conjugal enjoyment with Vrinda. And she realized, you're not Jalandhar. Who are you? You have broken my chastity. And then Vishnu took up his form. You have a heart of stone. Become a stone. And she cursed Vishnu to become stone. The Shaligram was because of that. And, I'm not sure if it's a curse or not, but Vrinda took the form of a tree. But then Narad came and said, my dear daughter, what have you done? You did so much austerities to gain him as a husband, and I have cursed him. Remember that life. And then she realized, yes, I wanted this, and now I got it. I shouldn't have cursed him. She left behind the form of Tulsi, and Vishnu became the Shaligram stone. And therefore, there is an occasion where we marry Tulsi and Shaligram with each other. Tulsi Shaligram Vivaha. It's coming from this pastime. So, like that, this is the story of Tulsi, how she came. And she is Bhakti Devi. No, she's not Bhakti Devi, she gives Bhakti. Bhakti Devi is somebody else. Tulsi Devi is again somebody else. This of course coming from a letter of Prabhupada. Somebody asked, is Bhakti Devi same as Tulsi? Prabhupada said, no, they are different personalities. So this is Tulsi Seva. Also remembering her pastime and how she came here. And then when Jalandhar was killed, he attained his original Sridhama form and went back to Golok. like that. That's the story. Shiva killed him. So then the other one is Atithi Seva, how to receive guests who are not coming by appointment or just bumping in. Atithi Seva. In the Vedic culture, you always have a room ready for Atithis. Just like the five Pandavas, they were looking for a place to stay when they were living incognito. Not after the gambling match, but after the burning of the house of lac. So Vidur had arranged for them, and in Ekachakra Gram village, Ekachakra, they found a Brahmin who hosted them. So they lived as Brahmins there. So that's Atithi Seva. Atithi Seva can be done with giving prasad, by giving a lecture, or what they do also in the manner I have seen on Janmashtami, when like thousands of people come, then there is no way to avoid a waiting list to have darshan of Radha Gokulananda. So let's like in Tirupati, there is a whole line going around the temple, one, twice, thrice. So it's a very long line. So generally it's boring. You have to stand, your legs hurt, and you think, oh, maybe you should go, and the next time, next Janma you'll try. Now what they do, they put seats. People can sit, and there are screens. You can watch the darshan, or you can see a movie, or whatever you can see. So they are being entertained while they have to wait. And then it's, hey, come in, time for darshan. Oh, really? They were enjoying that, Krishna conscious movie, something like that. Also part of Atithi Seva. You can serve the guests in that way. And then there is Prasad Seva. Everyone knows what Prasad Seva is. It's a very easy, fun form of Seva, and everyone likes it. Right? Prasad Seva. We have to understand that Prasad is an extension of Krishna's personality. We should respect it as Krishna himself and do prayers before we take Prasad. And then it will give the right result of purifying your consciousness. So these items, along with your Panchanga Puja, Abhigamana, Upadan, Yoga, Ija, Swadhyaya, they fill up the day of the sadhaka, of the practitioner, with Krishna conscious activities, and which complete his puja. Without these, actually, your puja is not fully completed. So, for this, a qualified guru is needed, who knows all of that and knows how to train his disciples in that. There's a nice quote in the 8th canto, 6th chapter, verse 9, but I don't have the time to read all of that now, so I skip that. Then the last thing is that Vedic education, this kind of training, of training a person into becoming a qualified Brahmin, a Snataka is called in Sanskrit, Snataka, which means bathed in knowledge, comes in 4 parts, Vedic education. We find in that verse that vidhi pranipatina pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina, Gita 34, that there is pariprashnena and sevaya. In other words, the first 2 parts of Vedic education is hearing from the spiritual master and also doing menial service. Very much necessary. Living like a servant in a house of the Guru, Kul, like that. You live in the house of the Guru, you serve the Guru Mata, you serve the Guru, and you live with them. Then the other one, Pariprashna, means hearing from asking questions and then hearing the answer from the Guru. That's the first one of education. Second one is menial service. Then Machita Madkata Prana Bodhayantah Parasparam Kathayantas Chamam Nittam Tushanti Cha Ramanti Cha. The other one is Bodhayanta, trying to understand the scripture. And Parasparam Kathayantas, discussing with your fellow students. So these are the 4 items of Vedic education, which complete. So all the things you learn, Upadan, Yoga, Ija, all these kind of things, are being taught to the students in these 4 ways. You hear from the spiritual master, do self-study, menial service, and discuss with your fellow students. That is the way to teach. So in this way, Brahmins are trained, are created. And you can see, because we are not changing somebody's conditioned nature, we are purifying a person's nature by giving him a right name, by changing his ego. Therefore, this is not the Vedic kind of Brahmanhood. Vedic Brahman means, which you find very much in Mahabharata, that the goal for Vedic Brahmins is to go to Swarga, go to Indralok. And then there are other criteria for being a Brahman. It's like a seminal line you have to have. Your father had to be born as a Brahman and things like that. But because we are not going to Swarga, we are going beyond Swarga, we're going to Golokadham, which is the planet made of Atman, It's on a level of the Atman. So therefore, we follow the process of Pancharatra, which trains us in how to behave like an Atman, like a purified soul, so that we can enter into the spiritual planets. And therefore also the Archan Paddhati, the way we worship, here you have Gaunitai, but like Vrindavan or Mayapur, you can say, where there are Sakhis and Srimati Radharani and Krishna. Then we follow the Ashtakaliya Leela Paddhati, which means the one day of Radha Krishna is divided in 8 parts. What time do they wake up? What time do they bathe? What time do they take breakfast? We follow the same schedule, the timings given like that. It's called Ashtakaliya Leela Paddhati, and that is how our worship is done in our ISKCON temples. So if you follow a whole day, Mangalarti till sleep, you can actually know what time Krishna is doing what. You see? So we go to sleep, but they don't sleep. They do something else in the night. A great Rasa Mandal starts at that time. So this is how we can see that if anyone can become a fully qualified Brahman under the direction of a spiritual master. So this is what Prabhupada is trying to say in this purport. I end here. Any questions or comments? I've seen everyone was awake, so everyone was interested in this class. Classes should be educational. 869. Shall I read that? It's not so long. It's the qualification of a guru, and this is a shocking revelation of that famous verse, Tadvidhi Pranipatena. When I read this, I was like, wow, I wrote a whole course just based on this verse. How to choose a guru. It is the 8th canto, chapter 6. The demigods and the demons declare a truth. So recall, why do they had to make a diplomatic unity? Because they needed both powers, demoniac and deva power, to churn the milk ocean. Needed all the power of the universe to do that, like that. So in this chapter, they are praying here to Lord Brahma, O best of persons, O supreme director, those who actually aspire for the supreme good fortune worship this form of your lordship according to the Vedic tantras. My Lord, we can see all the three worlds in you. So there's a prayer to Brahma, and then in the purport, Prabhupada goes. The Vedic mantras say, Yasmin vigyate sarvam evam vigyatam bhavati. So literally, Prabhupada doesn't really translate it, but he's kind of shortcutting it. Yasmin vigyate sarvam, in those persons who have understood the Supreme, evam vigyatam bhavati, they know everything. And Prabhupada translates it like this. When a devotee sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his meditation, or when he sees the Lord personally, face to face, he becomes aware of everything within this universe. Of what? Everything within this universe. He becomes aware of what's happening in Köln around this time. He's aware of what's happening in the corner of your temple. He's aware of what you are thinking in your mind. How? When does that happen? When the devotee sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his meditation, or when he sees the Lord personally face to face. That's the power of real darshan. See? Face to face, he becomes aware of everything within this universe. Indeed, nothing is unknown to him. Anything is unknown to him? No, nothing is unknown to him. Your guru knows what you're doing here. Right? Whether you're sleeping or not, he can hear you snoring. Nothing is unknown to him. Scary. Everything within this material world is fully manifested to a devotee who has seen the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything within this material world is fully manifested to a devotee who has seen the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there's a very funny quote of Prabhupada, an audio quote, Prabhupada says. And then he says, yes, I've seen God. God seeing business is finished. God seeing business is finished. And after seeing God, he remained the same rascal. You have seen God, What progress have you made? No. He remains, after seeing God, he remains the same rascal. Therefore, we should be very careful. See, those who have seen God, what happens when you see God? Everything within the material world is manifested to you. So those who have claimed to see God and you remain the same rascal, they haven't seen God. Prabhupada goes further. Bhagavad Gita 4:34 therefore advises tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So what means seeing the truth? What means seeing the truth? Intellectually? By book reading? No, not according to this purport. Seeing Krishna directly, eye to eye, or in your meditation. And as a result of that, everything is revealed to you. Right? This is a Tattvadarshya. This is a person who is qualified to initiate. Lord Brahma is one of these self-realized authorities. Swayambhur, Narada, Shambhu, Kumara, Kapila, Manu. Prada, Janaka, Bhishma, Balli, Vyasa, Prabhupada doesn't go that much, but these are the 12 Mahajanas. One must therefore accept the disciplic succession from Lord Brahma, and then one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead in fullness. Here the word Vishwamurtau indicates that everything exists in the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who is able to worship him can see everything in him and see him in everything. Amazing, huh? So you can imagine how much a real spiritual master can help you in your progress. He knows your past, he knows your present, he knows your future, he knows your previous lives, the karma which was coming from where, why you have difficulties now, how to remove them, right? That is Guru, heavy with knowledge. And this purport is very clear. What is the qualification? So Tattvadarshina, Jnaninas Tattvadarshina doesn't mean understood by reading books intellectually. No, it's all on the level of swapna, intellectual understanding. At least he has to be on the level of pragya, on the third level, sushupti, that where it's only the experience of the Atman is there. And when the relationship manifests, Atma with Paramatma Krishna, then you get the fourth level, Turiya. And one who has advanced to a certain state of consciousness, that far he can bring his disciples also. Therefore it says, a Kanishta can only bring his disciples to the Kanishta level, and a Madhyama to his Madhyama, and an Uttamadhikari to the Uttamadhikari level. This purpose is very, very clear. Right? Just on this purport, my How to Choose a Guru course which I wrote is based on this verse. Just break down the purport in different lines and explain what it actually means. So therefore a guru, therefore it says Guru Vani, the words of a guru are more important than going to an astrologer, right? Guru knows already, he doesn't need astrology to see, he can just see. And his connection with Paramatma, right? Therefore, if there is a disagreement between what the astrologer said and what the guru says, you take guru's directions, right? Because that's senior, is accepted, because his consciousness is on the Atman level. And astrology only works on the bodily and mental level, not on the Atmic level. That should be clearly understood. So you can ask an astrologer, how long will my disease last? I have this skin disease here. Then he can say, oh, up till your Rahu period is finished, because Rahu creates infections, like that. That is true, but he cannot tell you about the intimate relationship you have with your guru and with the spiritual world. And a bona fide astrologer will admit that I can read the Virat form, because astrology means reading the universal form through the planets and time. But I cannot see beyond that. For that you need yogic power. You have to be a yogi, a bhakti yogi, like that. Interesting? Yeah, that's a purport which I was thinking of. Went over time here. Anything else? Wer kann ich zo'n guru finden? That's true, because he sees Krishna everywhere, so nothing is bad. right? There's no good and bad. So he has to come to the level of Madhyama. But woher kann ich eine Guru finden, wie das Purport gesagt hat? Yes.
Related question. Did I understand right? The earrings cool down the senses?
Yes, the mind.
The mind.
Not the sense, mind.
Ah,
Now, the properly, if you pierce the right spot, it should be gold, right? Then the male have the nerve going here. The women have that nerve here. Therefore, piercing the nose for them is there. It's beautiful, but that's the functionality. Another place where the nerve becomes close to the skin is between the first and second toe. Therefore, you see Indian sages walk on wooden shoes with a peg, because then you have to press that. This all controls the mind, right? It's not really easy. You have to grow up with this, otherwise you hurt yourself. So these are yogic ways which the yogis have seen, which they use to dress like that, wear these kind of things. They're functional. They're not just for beauty. Just like it looks very beautiful, but it has a function also, like that. So you want to wear? It should be done actually, it should be done when you're very young. When you grow old, you have already so many samskaras, so many things you have done, experiences. It won't take away the experiences, you see. When you're young, you haven't experienced lust or whatever it is. So when you pierce it and it happens, probably you experience it less. You put less value in there because it's controlled. But if you haven't done long, it can still work probably, but it won't be that effective as it is done when you enter the Gurukul. The Karna Vedha, you get a Munja belt, you get deerskin in Vedic times, and then you get Shikha. These are all signs of a brahmachari who becomes a student, like that. Yeah, it's a belt, Munja grass. It's a kind of grass which they used in those times to tie your cloth or your deerskin. Deerskin you put like this, it will fall from your. So you have to tie it. Munja grass belt. It's a grass which grows very long, and there's a plume there, whitish plume, and it looks like how do you call that? Hoe zeg je rieten? Riet, yeah. Huh? No, cane is too thick. It's on the bank of a little lake, and you see this grows like. Same in German. Mm. So and then the leaves are very long like that. And it's like this big, one leaf of that grass. So you tie a few, and then you can put it on your. Looks nice. Vamanadev actually has it like that. Yeah, you can see it here. There's a munja grass belt being put there, deerskin. So nowadays, wearing, animal skins of rare animals is forbidden. So, and Mahaprabhu didn't like it also. So we wear saffron like that for that purpose. And this belt has out of fashion, it's gone out of fashion. But you can see there is some beauty in dressing like a brahmachari, you see? Like this brahmachari is dressed like that. That is how it is. Yeah. There are many little techniques for spiritual life, right? What time to wake up, what not to eat at night, what to eat at night or what not to eat, what is it? In which direction to sleep, which direction should be avoided for sleeping, right? So there are many little techniques which help you to control the mind, to be more flexible and more healthy in your spiritual life. The small things. And then you have devotees in ISKCON saying, rules and regulations, I want to follow. And others are like, what more can I do for my devotional service? Tell me. Maybe we can improve more and more and more. They want to know more. So it's up to the one's nature how much you want to learn. Otherwise, there is no end. But see how much you can follow. Right? Like that. So this is one of the samskaras which we learned in Mayapur Gurukul. It is being done, Karana Vedha, piercing the ears. It's one of the samskaras. So you can do it like that. But it shouldn't be for it shouldn't be for that purpose. See? Then you're not a brahmachari. Right? And then you should not, what? It's meant for soberness, right? And cleanliness, like that. Anything else? No? Yes?
Controlling the life air, I didn't understand. So in the verse was control the life air.
Controlling the life air, prana. Dantendriya prana shariradhi sada. He was controlling the life air. It's called pranayama. I think some of the yogis here are expert at that. I'm not so expert. This is how you control the prana, your breathing exercise. Puraka. Kumbhaka, stopping the breathing. Rechaka. Or you can do Anulom Vilom. Sorry, I'm doing it wrong. One cycle. 7 counts in, 1 count waiting, 7 counts out, 1 count waiting, 7 counts in, 1 count waiting, 7 counts out. 7 1 7 1. It's done most of the time. It's for beginners only. Yogis, they breathe once a month. For the rest of the month, no more breathing. That's called Kumbhaka. You can extend your life 700 years, 800 years, 900 years. You can do. Yes. Interesting, huh? We don't do that. We're not interested. We want to go back to God as quick as possible. So a lot of breathing. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. Okay, okay. And here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.